Hello, my dear friends. My name is Alena Baginskaya, or Helen in English. I'm a psychologist, and today we are going to talk about very important things which are going to relieve your pain, your inner pain. All of us suffer from something, from anxiety, or maybe depression, addictions, or overeating, fits of anger. This video is going to help you to relieve these things. Let's come up with such an example. When the baby is born, it has got some senses. It doesn't realize his or her senses, but he feels something. This is mother who comes up to him and tries to satisfy and comfort the baby. Mother can just stroke the belly if the baby doesn't stop crying, or she can give him food. In this way, the baby learns to identify its senses and its needs. Then comes the action. When the baby identifies his needs, he shows like that. It means that the baby understands his needs. The next comes the action. He takes something to eat. Yes, we can show it in such a table. So senses, thoughts, and action. What about feelings? There are two basic feelings which the baby has. This is delight and horror. Then they divide into several positive and several negative feelings, such as joy, happiness, kindness, love, mercy, tenderness, and so on. And such negative as anger, or maybe when the baby is frustrated, or dissatisfied, or bored. Who should help the baby to identify these emotions? Mother again. So mother should do like that. Oh, I came to you, I see there's a smile on your face. You're happy? Yes, you're happy to see me. I see that you're satisfied, you don't want to eat, you feel good. When the baby is like that, mothers should say, oh, I see you're frowned. Maybe you are angry with me. What has happened to you? Did your parents do these things? Mine, no. Why? Because they don't identify their own feelings, so they can't teach it their children. So now the work should be done by us. We should learn to identify our feelings. So if our emotions are not identified, we grow with a feeling of hollow, void. We are disoriented, we don't know what is happening to us, we feel some stress, some feelings, anxiety, and we need some comfort, and that's why we just run away from ourselves by working a lot, or studying a lot, or watching TV, searching internet, and so on. Or we try to use such painkillers as alcohol, drugs, antidepressants, some stuff which really doesn't help us, and we fall into depression. Let's imagine that we have some emotions which we don't identify. It's like we have hand and it is like swings. First, when we take it out, we look it around, yes. Then you try to master it, and in the end, you can use it, and it can serve you. It doesn't bother you, it doesn't prevent you from doing some things, it helps you. The same is with emotions. When we identify them, psychologists say that tension falls and we feel relief. When we can express them, we legitimize them, and in this way there is no inner conflict inside between our thoughts and senses. What conflict do I mean? When we have some senses and thoughts, until their conflict is not solved, we can't take action. No matter how much we are told, do this or do this, it won't work until here it is not settled. To settle it down, we should feel ourselves and we should identify our emotions and thoughts. And each thought influence each other. So emotions provoke some thoughts. You're hungry and you try to do something with this, or you're sad about something, about some food, and you feel some feelings you want to eat. So they influence each other. So you have to identify both the emotions and the thoughts. How can you do this? It would be helpful to have such table with the emotions. There are some spheres with emotions on internet which show your emotions. So when you feel something or when something happens, you have to write your feelings, thoughts, senses, and maybe desirable action in a copybook. So your copybook should be divided into 5 columns. Senses, maybe situation, senses, feelings, thoughts, and desirable action. First, it could be difficult to identify maybe emotions, even using such tables, but with time you will learn it. And it is important to identify your thoughts as well. Try to imagine that you are sad by your boss, you are fired. What feelings have you got? You're like in shock, you're frustrated, you're disappointed, you feel fear. What about thoughts? Oh, I won't be able to find a job. I'm so miserable. How can I support my family? So you write the situation, you're fired. You write the feelings, anxiety, fear, maybe you're sad, and you write down the thoughts. I feel miserable, I won't find job, something bad will happen to me, and then possible variant of action. So what can you do in this situation? Maybe you can just say, okay, it is not the end. So the last one is like opposition to the previous ones. Okay, what will happen? Nothing will happen. I know that I have good education. This job was not well paid. So I will be able to find something better. For such emotion as fear, there's desirable to develop catastrophic scenario. What does it mean? To get to the last point, to feel all the emotions to the last point. For example, oh, I won't find job. Okay, so what's next? I will sit at home and have nothing to eat. What's next? I will have nothing to eat. I will sit at home. What next? I'll try to find some job. I think I won't die. So when you go to the last point, it relieves your fear. Often in such situations as when you are dismissed or fired, you feel a lot of various emotions. They are like a ball of threads, and you should identify each emotion you feel and the thoughts you have for each emotion, and then you should write the percentage, how much of this emotion you feel. Maybe 20%, 30% or more. Help you to understand what you really feel. Our emotions identify our way of action. The more percentage of emotion we have, it means we should act this way. So if we feel anger 40%, it means that we should show this anger. Of course, it is difficult to write down your emotions, thoughts, situation every day, but think about the price you pay for not identifying your emotions. The price is really high, and it costs your health, self-esteem, your goals, maybe your happiness, your family. At first, it will be difficult for you to identify your thoughts, monitor your thoughts. You can think, okay, I feel blue. I have no thoughts inside, I just feel bad. But when you think a little, you can say, okay, I feel bad because. And you can identify the thoughts which trigger your emotions. When you don't or you can't identify your emotion, you can rely on your senses. Maybe you feel some tension in your muscle, some timbre, or maybe you have headache, your eyesight falls down. You can write down your senses. With time, you will learn to identify your emotions. Can you tell me, is it easy to manipulate the person who can't monitor his emotions and thoughts? Of course, it is easy. Some thoughts and emotions can be not even ours, but we live with them. By doing this exercise, you begin to understand yourself and you orient on your emotions and your thoughts. Of course, it will help you in life, and nobody will be able to influence your decisions because you know what you feel, you know what you think. Sometimes you can compare your thoughts and feelings with the others. And for example, it is advisable for therapists to say, when the person can't identify the feelings, what usually people feel in this situation. For example, when you are fired, what should you feel when you worked so much? Of course, you feel anger. Somebody can feel like anxiety, fear, and the person listens to the therapist, or he listens to himself and he understands, okay, yes, I try it on and I feel it. I should say that it is very important to write down your thoughts, emotions, and senses. Each time, several times a day. Some people say, okay, I can decide it in my head, but it doesn't work. When you write, you look at the situation from the side, which makes you look more objective. I hope that my video was helpful to you and it explained to you a lot. Please put likes and subscribe to my channel. Have a nice day. Till soon.